The current Scion XB is a little bit larger and a little bit rounder than when the car first arrived and split opinions right down the middle. This second generation model in the special release series trim does little for world peace. Let's drive it and check the tech. The most interesting thing about this XB is that it's a release series. 2,000 copies, one color, that's the tradition. Last year it was Murasaki. Before that, absolutely red. You get the idea. The most interesting thing about all XBs is that they're considered a pretty cool blank slate from which to customize, either with a wide array of TRD toys from the factory or the huge amount of tech you can do aftermarket. If you buy one of these stock and just drive it, I think you sort of missed the point.
All right, so what distinguishes an XB from a Release Series 8 XB? Well, the most obvious, have you spotted it? The paint. This is called Voodoo Blue because it'll make anybody believe in the devil. Although I gotta tell you, I got lots of thumbs up while driving it. I don't get it. Body kit all around from Ken Style. That redoes the front, the chin, the lower buttress hanging off the back, and these side fairings here below the door line. And you've also got this carbon fiber stuff around here. I think that's part of the kit. The wheels, by the way, are not. Those are an a la carte option, not part of a release series. And there's more inside. I gotta say, I kind of like the XB. It kind of reminds me of the old early vans, like, early and mid-60s Econolines and Dodge vans and things like that. It's really upright, it's really utilitarian, it's funky, it's kind of fun. Now this hole right here is where you've got a real sketch pad to work with. It's a double DIN vacancy in the dash. They ship it with a standard Pioneer branded Scion system with 8 speakers, 2 of which are these door tweeters up here. And from there you can go up to this guy, which is an improved Alpine audio, CD slot, touchscreen, but no nav, no DVD playback. It's got a nav button here for an outboard navigation module, but you don't really want to do nav on that little screen. They've also got a big 7-inch unit if you want to go full-on nav from the factory. What I would do is just stay with the base Pioneer unit, don't pay any more, and then go aftermarket. If you buy a car like this, you want to kind of express your own system and probably do up the amps and subs and all that kind of thing in consultation with our own Antoine Goodwin, almost assuredly. But when you do go stock, you've got CD, AM, FM, XM compatible, but not included right off the get. And you always have auxiliary and USB, which is iPod compatible, down here in the console. I kind of like how they do this. You see that little floor right there? That's actually a false floor. Lift that up, and that's where you can hide your gear plugged into one of the ports. Put this back, and you might not know I have anything in here. Now, the Bluetooth rig on this car is crazy. At least one of the upgraded head units has Bluetooth built in, but on our car, we have the a la carte Bluetooth, which is Sucktooth. It's this thing over here. For $300, they add this guy in, and it's got these little buttons. You've seen me demonstrate this before. You hold the button down, and it makes certain beeps, and that's how you pair it or make calls. There's no display. There's no point. And Scion has handily anticipated you may either be stupid or not live near a Radio Shack, and they have a Scion branded and bagged auxiliary cable. Never seen that before from a car maker. Inside the car, some of the Release 8 stuff is this unique upholstery, black with the blue inserts. You've got this little badge right here that tells you your serial number. I'm not sure you can see this when the headlights are on. Yep, lights up all blue. You've also got a power glass roof up here, kind of a spacious one. I like that. And you've got these nice blue logo XB Release 8 floor mats, so you can wipe your shoes all over what you paid for. Our shifter's up here on this interesting console that has what looks to be a commercial restaurant mandolin right there. We have the automatic in this case, which has a traditional gate, a shiftable gate, no paddles on it. Now, by the way, this automatic's a rather antiquated 4-speed. The base on this car is a 5-speed manual. Okay, now under the hood of a Scion XB, whether it's a Release 8 or any XB, you got the same old motor, but I'm not going to sneer at it because, folks, Toyota built an empire on engines like this. A perfectly good garden variety, nice running, forever running inline four. 2.4 liter in this case, variable valve timing, 16 valves, 4 per cylinder. It's a modern engine, but there's no gee-whiz tech going on here. 158 horsepower, 162 foot-pounds of torque. I like the chunky torque number. We'll see how that plays out on the road in a minute. 0 to 60 on this guy, which weighs about 3,000 pounds, is perfectly fine, 8.5 seconds, depending on your gearbox. And the mileage is also perfectly fine, 22, 28. Scion XB doesn't make any pretensions about being some kind of performance car. More of a cool, quirky, paint-your-own-thing car. It is roomy inside. You get a nice, big, broad-shouldered feeling inside this guy. It obviously mimics its external lines. The ride is pretty tightly sprung. That, plus the relatively tinny build and lack of much sound deadening, makes for a bit of a utilitarian ride. But the powertrain is one that I like. It's not going to blow anybody away, but it's what we used to call zippy or perky. This transmission is probably kind of a weak link. I mean, 4 speeds means that you're frequently not getting the most out of this motor, not from what I can tell. Okay, let's price this XB. Starts off at $16,700 delivered with a manual gearbox, the 5-speed. If you want the 4-speed automatic, add $950. Now, the Release Series package, it's a different car. It's not something you can option in, but it raises the price of an XB by $2,400 or so. Other options include all those different head units I mentioned. They range from like $450 to $2,000. Again, look at the aftermarket first, because that's all that Toyota's selling you here is an aftermarket head unit from the factory. Doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. And the one you don't want to buy is the $300 for that annoying screenless, non-interface Bluetooth rig. You can do better.